I'm down on Hilton Head. Maybe I'm in Palm Beach, Fort Myers. Maybe I'm on South Padre Island at Brian Kelly's place. I don't believe you in
general because you're a radio person.
Right. Well, you never know, man. I mean, you get these. I'm going to all these timeshare places. You get to stay for a couple days, and I just don't buy. I don't buy into the timeshare. I've heard that guy that advertises on the station, with a great accent. If you need to get out of your timeshare,
hey,
just call that guy.
By the way, did you ever in your life do that?
Oh, hell no.
I remember once my ex-girlfriend back in the day.
Because I know it's a scam, dude. It's a scam.
Absolutely.
I'm not doing that.
She won a sales trip. She was top salesperson in her region, and so she won a trip to the Bahamas, so obviously she took me, and because she couldn't find anybody else. So we went.
I believe you.
And one of the things at this trip was you had to go to the timeshare presentation. And oh man, it was so fun. First of all, they locked the doors and bolted them, wouldn't let you out until you signed the paper, and they'd hold you at gunpoint.
Right.
It was insane. I'm going. Let's get the hell out of here.
If you sign the papers, you get to go to the nice dinner, and if not, there's like a can of expired tuna out back,
right?
A bottle of something that's supposed to be water.
Right, and they start offering, hey, you can have a free TV, and we'll give you a car, we'll give you a yacht. Just sign this. Oh, dude, it was ridiculous. It was like the longest half hour of my life.
Not into that. No, I'm still at the house. One more day. I told you, and I don't mind sharing what again, I had a surgical procedure last week and spent a couple nights in the hospital, and so today I told Terry that I'm gonna be Bobby Cox to myself. And for those of you Braves fans who remember Bobby, when a guy was injured and he was eligible to come off the IL. Bobby would ask whatever player, pitcher, position player, whomever, something along the lines of, "Hey, how you doing there, slugger? Hey, Skip, I'm ready to go. All right, well, we'll get you back in there tomorrow." Bobby always made sure it was one more day. You were not going to play the day you came off, even if you felt like you could go push a boulder up a mountain. Bobby wasn't going to let you play or pitch. So I knock on wood, I am going to be back at the office tomorrow. That is the goal. It is just being precautionary, and again, Mrs. Phillips is making sure that I'm doing it the right way. A doctor making sure. So, and now Bobby Cox is in my head. So, hopefully, back on tomorrow's program.
I thought about this. What we'll do tomorrow is you come back in the studio, and I'll do the show from your house.
Yeah, everybody's gone. That's what I was thinking. It's like, where is everybody? Yeah, just see what happens with Phillips here. Just be messing with me all day. But yeah, feeling better. Ahead. Like I said, long journey ahead. But in the short term, feeling better after last week, and just want to make sure everything's good to go. So, hey, we got a lot to get to, man. Our buddy Eli Savoy will be with us in a little bit to give us an Ole Miss perspective. And I think you told me that we have. This became a story somewhat yesterday with Maryland head coach Mike Locksley, football head coach Mike Locksley, going on a really big D.C. radio, sports talk radio station. And in so many words, I don't want to say accusing, right? Because I don't know if that's what it was, Terry. But the term I used yesterday was throwing some shade Carolina's way about a young man from Baltimore, 5-star defensive end named Zion Ely, who has been committed to play for the Terps for, I think, a few months, visited South Carolina over the weekend, and by all accounts had a really good visit. It was an official, obviously, and he saw a good game. Unfortunately, Carolina couldn't hold on, but he saw South Carolina play a really good game against a really good team, and the atmosphere was good. I mean, I could see the stadium from my hospital window, if that counts, Terry. I wasn't there this time, but anyway, Mike Locksley said, well, hey, I mean, who am I to get mad if he goes down there and gets paid $5,000 or $10,000 just to visit, and they use it as an NIL thing? So do we have?
Yeah, we got it.
Okay, I want to get into that in a second. So I just want to set everybody up for that, because I've done some digging on that. around the Gamecock football program, and I have a little bit I can add to the story. So I want to do that for you. Again, we'll get into plenty of Carolina football. Tyler has cut up a lot of sound for us from the coordinators from yesterday. We had a few minutes yesterday from Coach Mike Shula, but we'll get into more from what Clayton had to say and more from Mike. Terry, we can take one more big name off the candidate board. Did you see this today? Matt Rule has signed an extension, and his buyout, now that's what he has to pay his employer, Nebraska. His buyout went from $5 million to $15 million. Now, is that a lot of money for a school like a Penn State?
Nope.
I don't think LSU is going to call Matt Rule. I don't think Florida is going to call Matt Rule. Although, I think Matt Rule could do a good job at Florida. I wouldn't right now. I wouldn't touch LSU with anything.
God, no.
And we'll talk more about that. But anyway, but Matt Rule does not get – he gets a 2-year extension to his deal. Again, his side of the buyout goes up $10 million. And while he does not get an actual raise in pay, what he does get is a huge incentive that if he gets Nebraska into the college football playoff, he will get an additional $1 million in base salary. And this deal escalates every year so that by the end of the deal, he's going to be making, I think in the final 3 years, $12.5 million per year. So all of a sudden, Terry, I'm thinking that Matt Rule is going to be staying in Lincoln, Nebraska, or either this is just a real – look, in today's world, is anything a horrible look anymore? I don't know. But it would not be good if he were to, in a month, go to Penn State after doing this.
No.
Or am I missing something?
No, you're not. A couple things. A, that $1 million for making the college football playoff, dude, that's safe. They don't have to worry about paying that out in Nebraska. That's number one. Number two, I always think about why. So let's have a little fun with the why. Why would you do this if you're Matt Rule? If you truly are going to Penn State, or if that is any type of reality in any way, shape, or form at a high percentage, you wouldn't do this. Here's what this is telling me. Let me throw this out to you real quick.
Yep.
This tells me that Penn State is not interested in Matt Rule. And
Fair.
The agent is using this to get something out of Nebraska, the rumors of Matt Rule, knowing that really Matt Rule is not going to be a serious candidate at Penn State, or not serious enough to actually get the gig. So you obviously leverage that back to Nebraska because you're not getting a raise in pay and you're upping your buyout, which is $15 million. They've got that in their – my God, they got that in a cuss jar at Penn State. But anyway, it's just the idea. You're right.
Yeah, but they're using that to pay James Franklin, right? That cuss jar is empty.
Yes, it's empty. So the idea is you wouldn't do this. And like you said, in a world where it seems like bad looks in this 15-second news cycle we live in, you're an awful human being for 15 seconds, and we go find the next awful human being.
Sure.
So you're not going to be long-term an awful person. But that being said, I think you nailed it. This would be an awful look to your credibility just as, I don't know, a human being.
Yeah.
If you would do it. So if you're Matt Rule, you don't sign this. Because, look, can we be honest here? If Matt Rule's got a choice of Nebraska or Penn State, the guy played at Penn State. His AD is his fishing buddy or whatever. Didn't he meet his wife at Penn State? I think
so. I don't know. Obviously
whatever.
loves the place.
God knows he probably dated cheerleaders at Penn State. I don't know. But my point is, that guy would pick Penn State over Nebraska if both jobs were offered to him. This makes me feel like Penn State wasn't going to offer him. And look, let's take a second, too. We beat up James Franklin's record versus top 10 teams. Go look at Matt Rule's.
Yeah, it's not any better, is it?
His is in the same neighborhood of suck as James Franklin.
It is. He's like 2-20.
It's awful. So my point being is here, I think Matt Rule knew he wasn't going to get the Penn State gig and decided to leverage the smoke to get something at Nebraska that makes Nebraska feel good, buyout, but also gets Matt Rule something he wants, which is what you gave out with the salary numbers. I think that's why
a great
it happened.
point. That's a great point. I did not, and I'll be honest, I did not think about the Penn State interest angle in all of this. So you may well be onto something. But Signetti has signed his extension. Now Matt Rule has his. Either way you want to look at it, it does make me wonder where Penn State is going to look.
Can I throw one at you? And I'm not saying they're going to get him, but we heard this name when the first early list came up, Mike Elko.
Well, listen, I told you, we did a start bench drop of candidates, 2 weeks ago? Mm-hmm. And we did the guys with the Pennsylvania ties because it felt like that meant a lot, and I understand why. And those were those three we chose for those reasons: Signetti and Rule and Elko. Elko, born and raised in Jersey, right across the border, but played at Penn. You just mentioned Rule played and went to Penn State. Signetti is from Pittsburgh. Has coached at Pitt and at West Virginia, knows the area well, is a Big Ten guy now. But they all three have direct ties to the state of Pennsylvania. Yep. So, it just, how much, look, Joe Paterno was from Brooklyn, right? So, I mean, does it matter? I don't know. But I think it matters to some people, and that's great. I appreciate that. It is a state university. I got zero issue with that. I think that's one of the reasons that Coach O was embraced. I mean, in a technical sense, Shane Beamer was born in South Carolina. That's a fact. That's not an opinion. Shane was born in Charleston when Coach Frank was working at the Citadel. So it can matter to the right kind of person. It may not, but Elko, to me, man, if Penn State can get him, that's your guy.
Oh, 100%.
That's your guy.
I
thought that all along.
I'll throw this out though. I think if that smoke starts to, if that that eye on the stove starts to heat up, don't be surprised if A&M doesn't rip up the deal they gave him and make him one of the highest paid coaches in college football.
I won't
to keep him. I mean,
I won't be. And right now, like you and I talked about, Ryan Day and Kirby Smart, they're working hard to get their teams, and they're going to be in the playoffs. I think they're both going to be in the playoffs, barring something unforeseen. But they're just sitting back and going, "Yep, let's let all this keep going, man."
Right.
And the faster that wheel spins, and the more friction that it causes, and the more these numbers go up, they just know that for a couple of weeks, neither one of them will be the highest paid coaches in America. Until they are.
That's right. Although there's no doubt. Oh, you got a start bench drop there, Chief?
I do. It's Halloween related.
Nice.
My daughter helped me with this one, so we'll see what y'all think of it. But I do want to come back as well. Terry, you're going to play the sound. Again, I've done a little, not a lot. I used more than a plastic beach shovel.
Okay.
To dig, but I got just a little bit on maybe how people down at the football facility are feeling about this based on some of the intel that I was able to receive today. So we'll get into that on this Mike Loxley versus South Carolina story. So we'll do that for you coming up.
All right, halftime. I did it again. Post-game show. Jay Phillips, Terry. I know, it's ridiculous. Jay Phillips, Terry Ford, and a cast of millions here on the game. All right, we're rolling a post-game show. I got it right that time.
Yeah.
Jay Phillips, Terry Ford.
Elijah wanted me to put on a shock collar when we were working together because and it does. It just randomly out of nowhere, you know. But like I said, my excuse is I'm going to just say this is me being selfish. My excuse is better than your excuse because I did it for 16 years. You did it for 3.
Yeah, true. Oh, dude, if I'd have done it for 16 years, I would never stop calling the halftime show. I don't care what shift I was doing. There's no way I could get it out of my head.
It was tough because sometimes you just kind of it becomes automatic for us, you know, when we do what we do and we just bring something back in or take it out. You're just like, you know, you don't even really think about it. So
Nope.
it's like the phone number, you know, doesn't change, but then it did. All right, I do have a start bench drop, Halloween related because we don't do start bench drop on Friday. So tomorrow is Halloween. Happy Halloween, everybody. So this is more for those, you know, of the more not mature, but you know, you're over 21 set, I guess. All right. So best way to celebrate on Halloween night.
Oh.
All right. Best way to celebrate on Halloween night. Now, listen, if you just like to go to, you know, a bar and in costume or whatever, that's fine too. And I suppose one of these would count for that. So that'd be fine. So I've got them in alphabetical order. Costume party. Right? So costume party. Haunted attraction. Now, I don't mean like going to some old house because, you know, again, Terry, as you know, I'm not really a believer in haunted houses. But like these live action places where they've got, you know, creepy thing like Ryan's Haunted Trail, but you know, like the one, like I think it's called Deceased Farms here in town, and Carowinds has the Scarowinds up there, you know, on the border, and those kind of places. So haunted attraction, that's the best thing I could come up with.
Yeah, the place my daughter works to get punched in the face. Yes, exactly.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, where they encourage violence against the employees. Or staying at home, or going somewhere, but watching, you know, a really scary movie. So that's the start bench drop. How to celebrate on Halloween night.
Cool.
Costume party, wherever it may be taking place. Live haunted attraction or scary movie. I was gonna do try to pick 3 scary movies and start bench drop them. But then I was like, you know what? We've done things like that. We did a top 5 Friday not too long. Last year, maybe 2. I forget when it was. We did one, and we've probably done a few versions of it with like Stephen King movies or just, you know. And you can put horror movies into different categories, right? Like there's the monsters, aliens, jump scares. There's like the ones that to me are kind of the creepiest, which are like the biblical ones, you know, like The Exorcist, Prince of Darkness, The Omen. You know, those that are kind of like, man, I don't know about all that.
Right.
So,
because there's that little bit of tinge of, wow, that feels like reality or truth or something. That's the ones that, unlike, say, as I remember telling Dave one time, the Amityville Horror, and I was like, here's the truth about Amityville Horror based on a true story. Once upon a time, a family bought a house in the state of New York. That's the story. That's it. Wait,
all the rest of that crap. All the rest of that crap, Terry, did not happen.
You don't believe the walls bled. You don't believe that the ceramic tiger bit somebody. You don't believe at 3:15 awful things happened. You don't believe any of that.
No. Sorry.
You know,
once upon a time.
Hey,
once upon a time, a family bought a house.
Do you remember the Eddie Murphy riff on that?
Yeah.
Oh my God! You know.
Why don't you just get out?
It's like, remember, this house is beautiful. It's got big ceilings, got a basement. Oh, too bad we gotta leave, baby. We gotta
leave, baby. Yeah,
we gotta go.
That's it. That's the movie.
I like
that's it.
He said, dude, my family, we leave the kid in the TV and just get out.
Right? Yeah, I'm gone. You know what? But anyway, so there you go. So have fun with that one. I'll throw it out on Twitter in just a second. In the meantime, play this clip. I know you've got it, Tara, ready to go. This is Mike Loxley, and you can tell everybody this is on DC's sports radio blowtorch, right?
Yeah, it's 106.7 The Fan. It's an iconic morning show called The Sports Junkies out of DC.
All right, here's Mike Loxley. Just play it, and then we'll give you everything else.
All right, let's get this baby here. Here we go.
There's in my opinion, I mean, those guys, they get paid to go take those trips now. Like, this is part of
that right?
this whole, yeah. And so why would I be mad for Zion to make a $5 to $10 grand to go down to South Carolina and
just to look-see?
He's been one of those guys that has been really loyal to this area. He's been loyal to me.
All right, so that's Mike Locksley, the head football coach of the University of Maryland, a Big Ten school, saying on a radio station, naming a kid by name, which, by the way, is a violation of NCAA rules. Head coaches are not allowed to go on public airwaves or say in what would be a printed interview the name of a commitment. You cannot name those kids specifically. You can only name them and speak of them once they have signed to play for you. That's it. So that's a clear violation. Then he basically says, well, now they're just getting paid. Okay. I was able to ask around the program. Full disclosure, Terry knows who I've spoken with. And I'll just say that what I was basically told is that no one at the University of South Carolina football program has put any stock in what Mike Locksley said. And it was reconveyed to me, if you will, that there is a belief down at the Long football facility that the University of Maryland's head coach has committed an NCAA violation. Now, whether Carolina pursues that or not, Terry, I have no idea. I did not get that in depth with this. I may and likely will be able to learn more. I don't know if they should or shouldn't. That's not for me to say. Not that hard. Look, for all of the NCAA does, when something is basically handed to them in this kind of sense, when you could basically see it. I mean, I don't know how many people are looking around Maryland football right now, or but in the Big Ten. But is somebody going to go, Mike, Bud, what are you doing? You can't do that. So I'm told that, like I say, no stock in what he said, and I don't know that it is, as best I could tell, Terry, in reading between the lines and the information I was given by someone who knows. I feel like they're almost doing the shoulder shruggy guy.
That guy?
Yeah, that guy, know. So, take it, all of you, take it as you will. But I wouldn't put too much into this at this point in time, based on what I've gathered.
Yeah, and again, we'll circle back to it real quick. The idea you and I yesterday were like, isn't that a violation unless somebody – because, look, they change rules like while we're asleep.
Yeah, well, they've been dropping a lot of rules. In all seriousness, they've been dropping a lot of rules, and they've just been taking some out of the book. So I get it. But anyway,
still,
we'll continue
it's still a
to
violation.
Yeah, but that's what I was told not long before we went on the air, that there is the belief that is absolutely an NCAA violation. All right, so there you go. There's that. Come back on the other side. Our great friend Eli Savoy, co-host of the morning show Sports 56 in Memphis, Tennessee, with our buddy Greg Gaston, is going to join us. Eli will give us his take on Lane, the Rebels, maybe Lane's future, a few other things going on out his way in the western part of the SEC. Eli Savoy when the postgame show comes back. Integrated Media, ready to make your life a whole lot more fun, especially as we head into the holidays with the great holiday movies and specials and parades. And, of course, that time of year also means football gets into crunch time. bowl games, playoffs, and all kinds of great stuff. And if you've been dreaming of a brand new home theater system or upgrading your current system to the latest in HD and sound technology, Integrated Media ready to make it happen. Want to surprise somebody with a home theater as a gift or even some upgrades as a gift? Now's a great time. And remember, the equipment is the same cost as the big box stores. You know, the additional part of what you're going to pay for is the expert service from Michael, from Nathan, from Philip, and Evan, and the whole crew, man. All great guys to work with. Love what they've done for me. You'll love them, too. One room, whole house, indoors, outdoors, Wi-Fi that works everywhere. 803-948-8327. Nobody better for home theater than Integrated Media.
Post-game show. Terry Ford, Jay Phillips, and a special guest who was dying to talk to you, called in just to talk to you today.
I'm sure he did. We love our good friend Eli Savoy and his co-host Greg Gaston. I'm under the impression Greg is traveling. Eli, is he going to be calling a game this week? Is that what's going on?
He is. He is doing the sidelines for the Memphis game, and they play tomorrow night at Rice. So he's on his way down there down to Houston.
So he is Well, yeah, so he's probably at some fancy steakhouse in Houston on the company dime, right?
Yeah, I would imagine so. I would hope so anyway.
It better be, exactly.
That's right. Eli and Greg have been great friends of the show for many, many years. Not too far away from Oxford, Mississippi. How different does it feel out your way and with the fans about this version of Ole Miss football relative to where they were right now last year?
It's interesting because last year was like the year. It was supposed to be the year. Everything was all in for last year to get to the playoff with everybody that they had, and then it didn't work out. And then going into this year, it was kind of like, well, I mean, still a pretty good team and somewhat friendly schedule. Let's see what happens. And now, after the win over Oklahoma, it is all sitting there right in front of them with a great opportunity to make the playoff. But it's almost like people, I don't know if maybe they're a little cautious because of the losses last year to Kentucky and Florida where they stubbed their toe, that they're like, they don't want to get too excited yet. They just want to make sure that let's get these last 4 wins and then worry about it. But we don't want to get too excited because we're afraid we're going to stub our toe again.
Hey, Eli, we'll get to the on the field stuff, but the off the field stuff's so much juicier. All right, so here's I guess the question to ask you when it comes to with Lane Kiffin at Ole Miss, because again he comes up for every gig every year. Which you guys have to be yawning by this point, or maybe not. I don't know. When you look at Lane Kiffin and his situation at Ole Miss, and last time I checked, he's not working at Sonic part time. They're paying him well. Do you sit back and say, yeah, we get it, he's always going to be on the rumor mill? On a scale of 1 to 10, how confident do you feel that this time next year we're talking about Lane Kiffin still at Ole Miss?
I'm pretty confident. I think he's going to end up staying. However, the fact that they haven't announced an extension or anything new yet does make me believe he at least is considering the possibility of leaving, because they've been working on this for a while. I mean, Keith Carter came out a while ago and talked about the fact that they had been talking to Lane about a new deal. So the fact that I thought it would get announced after the Oklahoma win. I thought they didn't want to do it after the Georgia game because it's a loss. You don't want to figure out, let's not announce it after the loss. They get the Oklahoma win. I was thinking it was going to come out kind of right away. But then the LSU job opening up may have been a little bit of a change to that as well. He's very comfortable at Oxford. He's got everything that he wants. I mean, he owns the city at this point. Anything he asks for, he gets. They're paying him extremely well. I think this is a different lane. I think he's very comfortable there. The family's all there. Everything else, I think everything is good. I do think the fact that at LSU, Florida, these what are believed to be prime jobs still, I think gives him a little bit of pause. But I think in the end, he will end up realizing that he doesn't want to leave Oxford with what the family situation is, with his son playing high school football there, his daughter going to Ole Miss, everything else. I think he'll end up realizing this, for right now, is where I should stay.
Yeah, I agree with that, too. I think we've been talking about that a lot, that it makes a lot of sense. And there's really, the gap is narrowing just with the way the landscape is in college sports these days, that Ole Miss can attain some things that maybe just a few years ago they couldn't. Eli Savoy is with us, Sports 56 morning show co-host in Memphis, Tennessee. Back to this Ole Miss team. I have called Trinidad Chambliss the breakout player or surprise player of the year, not just in the conference, but in all of college football. I don't know if he's the best. I don't know if he's headed to New York. He might be. What has been the feeling around a kid that was supposed to come in and be a backup and is now, again, the hit of the year in a lot of people's minds?
Yeah, I mean, it's whatever term you want to use, breakout, surprise, whatever. I mean, it's really an amazing story. I mean, quite frankly, even to find him from an SEC, to get a guy that was at Ferris State at an SEC school, to even have that on your radar, get him in there, and then, pressed into the situation of having to play him, and for him to do what he has done is amazing. There was not a competition. Austin Simmons was the guy. They loved Austin Simmons down there. They believe Austin Simmons is they literally believe he's has the potential to be the top overall draft pick in the NFL. Like, they think Austin Simmons is that good. There was never a thought that Trinidad Chambliss would be playing for this team. And I guarantee if they thought that he was, that was going to be a bad sign. They certainly weren't thinking Trinidad Chambliss might lead them to the playoff. But he's just been incredible. And nobody saw this coming. There isn't a person in even diehard Ole Miss fans that were like, that first week when it was whether Simmons was going to play or not, and then, Simmons is out against Arkansas. Most of the Ole Miss fans thought they were going to lose to Arkansas. Like, it was like, oh, my God, we're screwed. We don't have Austin Simmons. And then Chambliss plays well, and it was a close game, and they pull it out. And then Chambliss is great the next game, and then he beats LSU, and everybody's like, whoa. I mean, it truly is one of the great stories in college football this year. And if he were to end up in New York, that would be one of the great stories of all time in college football for a guy to come from Ferris State and then be a Heisman finalist as a backup quarterback in year one in the SEC.
Hey, Eli, last year, and you nailed it when you earlier in the segment where you said last year was the year, right? Spent all this money on NIL. It was like a superstar, all-star team, and they're going to roll off to the college football playoff. They're doing documentaries, for the love of God. And they did win 10 games, but it felt like they underachieved in some ways. This year, nowhere near as much in the expectation level, but this team could achieve a lot more than last year's team. What's the difference, my man?
I think the biggest difference probably for this year is the schedule. I mean, this is as friendly a schedule as they could have had. I mean, you look at the two games they just completed at Georgia, at Oklahoma, but the rest of them, your other road games in conference are at Kentucky, at Mississippi State, and certainly Mississippi State, the Egg Bowl will be difficult. Washington State is your quote-unquote power conference team outside of conference play because Wake Forest dropped them, so they had them. I mean, it was a really friendly schedule this year. And you looked at it from the beginning and said, boy, if they can split with Georgia and Oklahoma, it's all kind of sitting right there for them. Now, last year, again, it wasn't the hard team. It was the loss at home to Kentucky, and it was the loss to Florida last year that ended up keeping them out of the playoff. So by no means is it done. South Carolina very easily could come into Oxford and beat them, and then you're like, what just happened? But the schedule worked out well. And I think that, again, Trinidad Chambliss kind of coming out of nowhere and being the player he's been. And Keywan Lacey, the addition of Keywan Lacey should not be overlooked either. He's had a terrific year. And the running game, the way they've been able to run the ball this year certainly has been a big help for Chambliss. But this offense really has added – because they've been a great running team since Lane's been there. Last year they didn't run it quite as well. This year Lacey has taken that running game back to where it was.
How much hope, faith, whatever can South Carolina fans put, and you just mentioned it, into that Kentucky game? I don't know that this Ole Miss crew is due for a letdown or anything like that, but they are coming off a really nice, hard-fought road win against a blue blood program. Any sense of a blood in the water moment for the Gamecocks, is considering that the Gamecocks let one get away against Alabama? I mean, maybe both of these teams have a little too much emotion running through them right now. Who knows?
That's the thing. That's what I wonder too. When we talk about college teams and we talk about letdown games, letdown after a big win, or how hard is it to get up after a tough loss like what South Carolina went through? I don't know. I mean, certainly after games at Georgia, at Oklahoma, coming home to face South Carolina, there may be a little bit of a letdown there. The fact that Citadel's the next game, you're not really looking ahead to anything, so that helps for Ole Miss. But the one thing I will say is that Arkansas game earlier this year, Talon Green caused them a whole bunch of problems running the football. If Lenora Sellers could come out and have one of those games, certainly South Carolina has the ability to come in here and keep it close and give themselves a chance going into the fourth quarter. And if that happens, who knows what happens in a close football game.
Always appreciate you, man. I hope the golf game is going well for you, too. For those who haven't ever heard me say, Eli is a darn near scratch golfer, and he just doesn't like to brag about it. But he should, but he doesn't. But he should. But appreciate you, man.
In like 3 weeks.
No. So that means you're going to go out and shoot a 75 next time, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Thanks, man. We appreciate you, Eli.
Hey, appreciate you. Best to Greg. We'll talk soon.
See you, man.
All right, thanks, guys.
That's our buddy Eli Savoy. You can follow Eli on Twitter for all things going on out that way. Eli560, the way to do that. on Twitter. We'll recap what he said and a whole lot more on the postgame show.
Real quick. Couple of early accidents to report. Decker Boulevard at Brookfield Road, South Beltline Boulevard near Ploden Road. Also, our typical construction, I-126 between Hugie and I-26. I-26 between Bush River Road, exit 108A, and Old Sandy Run Road, exit 125. And I-20 between I-26, exits 64 and 65, Broad River Road. All right, we will jump to the vault here in just a little bit, though. Here on the post-game show, Terry Ford, Jay Phillips. First, we'll circle back on what Eli told us a little bit about Ole Miss there, Jay.
Well, he's like a lot of us, and Terry, I don't know what's going to happen Saturday. I do think South Carolina has an opportunity, but there's something about when I've watched Mississippi this season, and I realize that we saw them in person here in Columbia last year. But there's something about the way they're playing football that just makes me think this is a better team. It may not be a better collection of talent, and last year's team was very good. They going to the Swamp and losing hurt them, but what hurt them was losing at home when they sleptwalked through a Kentucky game. I don't know that they've done that since. I would not accuse them of sleepwalking through the game in Gainesville last season. DJ Lagway had a good night. Florida had their moments, and I think for a little bit at least last season, Florida found some inspiration to play better football. And it's hard to go down there and win, no matter how good, bad, or whatever Florida may be, right? We haven't seen that this year from Mississippi. We haven't. If you want to argue that they didn't play well against Washington State, I watched some of that game. Certainly kept my eye on it at least. Yeah, okay. I think Lane used about a third of the playbook that day. I don't know that he was. The Cougars stayed in it for a little bit, but in the end, Mississippi was the better team, and they won the football game. And their only loss is in Athens, man.
And they had the lead in that game, and in the fourth quarter, Georgia just won the fourth quarter on them.
Yeah, and Georgia's been good about that. The only team that they didn't do it against, Georgia, was Bama, also in that building. So, I thought last week they were strong, Mississippi. They were strong, and that's what you got to be. I don't always care as much about flair and personality and whatever else. Did you make some plays? Did you win the game? And I think Oklahoma was pretty good. Mississippi was better, and that's why I think Lane's right about the whole whatever Venables thing. The better team. No, dude, they beat you.
Yeah,
sorry,
absolutely.
Brent. I like Brent Venables, but sorry, Brent, you got beat. You play an hour, you got beat. This version of Mississippi just feels like a better football team. And again, Trinidad Chambliss has Eli nailed it. Should Trinidad find his way as an invited finalist to New York City next month, or I guess December, what a story. And Terry, he's trending that way. If he plays in November the way he has been playing since taking over as their starter, he's going to be in New York. Will he win? I don't know. Will he go to New York? I absolutely believe that.
If you see a one-loss Ole Miss team at the end of the year with how Trinidad Chambliss helped change the whole dynamic, I think you definitely see him in New York. You know what's interesting about this, Jay, is this Ole Miss team, even though they're not as talented as last year's individually, they're more of a team. And
yep.
they've played better complementary football. And, yeah, maybe the schedule gods smiled on them. But the one thing about giving South Carolina hope, the Ole Miss defense misses a lot of tackles. They don't get as many sacks or pressures or tackles for losses last year as they did. So maybe you can get more on the Ole Miss defense, because last year that Ole Miss defense was one of the best in the country, right? But offense, look, as a team, South Carolina's got to get around the 30 number to have a hope. They just do, because Ole Miss is going to score. They just are.
Yeah. That's that's hard to see, Terry, because even if you put some wrinkles in last week, you scored 22 points. Mm-hmm. Is Mississippi's defense better than Alabama's? I don't know. Is it the same? I don't know. I don't know. What's the environment like on Saturday? I don't know. But this South Carolina team, from an offensive standpoint, struggles to score points. In I guess the most points they've scored this year, again, they got a supplemental score against Kentucky. They got them obviously against Virginia Tech. You've had them in a couple other games. You just gotta find a way to score. Now, he makes a great point, and I'm sure they are poring over the Arkansas film and finding how it is that Taylon Green was put in the best position to succeed. With what he's able to do as a true dual threat like Lenoris is. So find those holes, find those wrinkles, make a difference. But scoring 30 seems tough.
Yeah, unless they get special teams and defensive scores. This day,
supplemental touchdowns, man.
This day in 2004 or 2003, my friend, some guy named LeBron James made his debut and scored 25 points. There's your vote.
Is he still playing?
I haven't heard of him since then. Have you?
The fact that he is amazing.
I know, it's sick. It's crazy.
Yeah. Hour 2 coming up.
CHW Cabinetry. We talk about what Star and her crew do all the time. And it's so much more than just, the cabinets are phenomenal looking. I went to CHW Cabinetry online. The work, you can just see how great it is. It's more than that. It's start to finish customer service, making sure you get what you need within your budget and what your vision is for your home. Because, again, your home is really important. You invest in your home like nothing else in your life, pretty much. So you want it correct, and you want it in your budget. They will give you these photorealistic renderings from start to finish. You see how everything plays itself out. They will be with you holding your hand, literally if you need to, holding your hand from start to finish to make sure you're satisfied. It's customer service at CHW Cabinetry. Call 803-520-6837 at CHW Cabinetry. Postgame show. Hour number 2, we get into this, baby. Terry Ford, Jay Phillips. As we roll up until 6 o'clock. All right, man. So here we are. A couple days away from Ole Miss. You feeling all right? You feel like there's a shot here?
Yeah, I do. I don't want to give away my score prediction that we do for Jack Veltri every week on Gamecock Central, so that'll be out tomorrow. I do think there's an opportunity here, but South Carolina is going to have to play with the same mindset and intensity, and mold in my opinion, more creativity than they did against Alabama if you're going to go win this game on the road. I do genuinely believe that part of it. Again, I think you just, I mean, Terry, I just believe personally Lenora Sellers has been underutilized this season, and I find it hard to believe that any of us are saying that. But I just feel like this scheme that's been built around him has not been as effective. And again, I'll probably never let go of joking one day and early in the season when in one of Ryan Brewer's appearances when I said, I just want it to look like last year. And Ryan said, so you want the play to break down and Lenoris to just, kind of go crazy. It's not exactly what Ryan said, but in so many words, remember I looked at him and I said, yeah, I don't want the plays to always break down.
Right.
But if my alternative is Lenoris going crazy because nobody can touch him or tackle him, then I don't really care how nobody touches or tackles him, And so I know, and to be serious and to be fair to Mike and to be fair to the offense, you can't expect that, and you certainly can't tell, no matter what kind of athlete anyone is in any sport, you can't just say, hey, you with the ball, go. Like you can't do that. Certainly not at this level. If it's high school ball, sure. Maybe we did a little bit of that, Terry, when Cam did his thing for his amazing year at Auburn. And I know there's been comparisons to Cam, but at the same time, just watching Lenoris do 3- and 5-step drops, and it's not that Lenoris can't. I always hope people understand. This isn't because I don't think Lenoris is a bad quarterback or a poor thrower of the football. Quite the contrary. I think it's because he doesn't have an offensive line to give him enough time when they ask him to take 3- and 5-step drops, when they want him in play action. And you've had the analytics to prove that when they are utilizing play action, it actually is performing and producing at a pretty good clip, all things considered. But I don't know. There's just something that's not there. And so if you can go find that element again and have Lenoris be, and I'm air quoting, Lenoris. I'm not sure how to define that. That can be, that's a malleable term, Lenoris being Lenoris. But what we do know is that we haven't seen that this season in the long stretches and spurts and in sometimes entire games, Missouri, A&M, Clemson, that we saw last season, even by and large, Alabama. Sadly, you and I mentioned this off air the other day, but we can say it on air too, even if it's something you don't want to mention. But as time goes by, unfortunately, it may well be that for Lenoris Sellers' 2 games against mighty Alabama, he's going to be remembered for fumbling the ball in each of them. That's going to be the remembrance. Not that he had moments where he played really, really well and threw some big touchdowns to Nick Harbor or had some big explosive runs or anything like that. What did Lenoris run for the other day? It was like 80 yards or something.
Yeah, you take out the sack numbers. Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, the gross yards. So I just want to see more of that. And if Lenoris can be Lenoris, I like the opportunity. I think this defense is good. But, boy, Chambliss is also a great dual threat. And, like Eli just told us, Tare, there's a better element to the Mississippi run game. And I just come back around to it. I just really believe this version of Ole Miss Rebels football is better than last year, despite what the beliefs around that team were. So, you gotta put it all together again for Carolina, and instead of going 57 minutes, you got to find a way to go the full 60. And maybe they got closer last week. Maybe they didn't. I'm not sure. But I saw a team play a good football game last week. They didn't win, and that sucks. And you know why you didn't win, and that sucks too. But if you eliminate just enough of that, I do think there's an opportunity here. But I will contend, for obvious reasons, that Mississippi is the better football team.
Yeah. Throw a little something at you real quick. Talk about run the football. Kejuan Lacey this year, the Ole Miss running back, has broken 58 tackles this season. All right. South Carolina as a team, taking out Lenora Sellers, has broken 44.
Yeesh.
Let me run that one by your skull real quick.
Yeah.
Yeah. By the way, South Carolina as a team has broken 81 tackles in the run game, 37 of them by their quarterback.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he's a special guy. I mean, and it's a lot like Ahmad Hardy in the year he's having at Mizzou. It's just you gotta, maybe he's just better than you most of the time, right? He's one of those kind of football players.
Yeah, and look, and I guess going back to the fact, remember the Missouri game, there were tackle issues, and now you're going to go up against the guy who's probably the best breaker of tackles since you saw Hardy. And you got to be more disciplined. You got to learn from that experience. You got to wrap up. You got to tackle. Obviously, everybody runs the ball, and all those other cliches we hear all the time, right, Jay? You have to do it. I mean, if you look at Hardy this year so far has broken 61 tackles. So Lacey and Hardy are the same kind of dude. And we talk about Chambliss. We talk about a lot of these things. One thing Ole Miss does well under Lane Kiffin is run the ball. And, Judkins was really good. They have been –
Judkins,
they have run the football really well under Lane at Ole Miss. And when we're looking at this game, if Lane could just turn and give it to Lacey and watch him run up and down the field all day, Lane will do it, man.
He will. And why wouldn't you? I mean, again, if he's going, he's going. So I expect to hear his name often. And as you said, Carolina's had moments against a tailback like this, but that trying to think just real quick here. I just don't think you've had a 1-2 punch yet that you've played against quite like what Chambliss and Lacey are doing.
I think you're right. You're right because
I mean, you've seen some good, like Simpson's a really good quarterback, but Bama doesn't run all that well. The way Vandy runs their offense, I love what Pavi is doing, and he can certainly take off when he wants to, but he's not what Chambliss is, and they don't necessarily have a back like that. They've got Stowers at tight end, and maybe so it's different in terms of what you saw from Vanderbilt. Prabula solid, but really I think in
he's
the
not
end,
Chambliss. No.
Yeah, and I think Missouri beat you with defense, and then you beat yourself in Missouri. 14 penalties for like 100 yards. So LSU just again defensively they were just better than you. I don't know. This there's a reason Mississippi's where they are in the rankings, and these are rankings now as we head into November, literally on Saturday. There's a reason Mississippi is where they are. This is the best team South Carolina's played.
Hey, let's get you talking about.
I'll be careful. They played Alabama. I just feel like Mississippi is more complete. They're not more talented than Alabama, so I'll be careful as I say that. And you see them, interestingly enough, in back-to-back weeks. I don't think, Terry, if there is separation between Mississippi and Alabama, I think it's paper thin.
Yeah, I think the complete, because again, Bama couldn't run the ball. Ole Miss can run it. They can throw it. Defensively, Bama's probably a little bit better, but yeah, I get where you're going. I want to play a cut for you. We go back to Lenora Sellers and some of the things we're talking about, how he has really not been Lenora Sellers this year like we saw down the stretch. One of the things we've talked about, roll him out, put him in space, bootleg him. And here was Mike Shula yesterday, Jay, talking about rolling out Lenoris.
Yeah, no, so each week you try to, there's all, as you try to attack defenses, it's, sometimes it's, on the edge, sometimes it's not, sometimes it's different plays. But, he's done a good job, when he's gotten out of the pocket. He does a really good job of keeping his eyes down the field. And while he's out of the pocket, and he's done, for the most part, he's done a good job making, we talk about making good decisions late in the down, whether or not it's on a scramble or if you're out of the pocket or whatever. If it's not there, down the field, find your outlets, know it, and at worst, as we know, use your legs, and he can make plays with his legs that way too.
All right, real quick. I thought it was interesting what Mike said earlier, not to pick apart words, but I'll pick apart words a little bit. You're saying, it depends on the opponent about how you attack. Now, I understand that, right? I do. But here's where I'll just throw something in extra. I'm going to say this nice I can. I don't care who the opponent is. I don't care what they do. I'm rolling Lenore Sellers out, Jay, because he's a special guy, and I think my special guy can get over on your special guy sometimes. I'm not scared of rolling him out against any opponent, any matchup, because if I'm going to win football games, I've got that guy, and I'm going to trust that guy to make plays, and I'm not going to overthink this and say, well, they're really good on the edge. No. I'm rolling that guy out every week, Jay. Every week I'm rolling that guy out.
100%. And I think that's one of the frustrations that a lot of us have this season is that it just feels – and again, I if I'm wrong, I'm wrong, and somebody can tell me, but – I just feel like I don't want to say that Lenoris is being treated like just, average Joe quarterback. Okay? I'm not saying that. But Terry, you're right. I mean, look, most of the time, I can't say every game that he plays, but most of the time, when there are 22 college football players on a field and Lenoris Sellers is one of them, he's the best player on the field. Period. Both sides. Use him. And when I say use him in a good way, I don't mean abuse him, and use him up, a great song. Back in, use me too, use me up. It's a great song. But, is he being utilized fully and effectively? I just, this season, I haven't felt that way. Is it because they're trying different things, or is it because plays blow up? Or is the answer yes to both of those? And then there's other reasons as well. It's hard to put one finger on why, but I'm with you, man, 100%. I'm going to believe every time until I know he's not. He's the best player on the field, and so far this season. Look, I'm not saying that he is or isn't a better quarterback than Ty Simpson or Garrett Nussmeier or what Trinidad Chambliss is doing or what Cade Klubnik is for Clemson or anything like that. These are all great quarterbacks, and I think all these dudes I just said are going to have big-time next-level opportunities, even with Pavia and what he brings from both a play and spirit perspective. Terry, I'll take Lenoris over all of them, man. I'm taking Lenoris over all of them, and I want to see – all of those things that we know are there. Again, like Missouri and A&M and Clemson and Oklahoma last year. I want to see it. I want to see it. And I'm just not seeing it. I'm just not. And I want to know why, and I can't really quantify it. And that's frustrating for not just me, but there's thousands of people that feel that way.
And look, sometimes, you can, when you're really into something every day, you can overthink it all, right? And you can. It's human nature. And like what Mike said there, it's like, well, depending on the matchup, sometimes it's as simple as this. Like my uncle would say, Mayan's better than urine.
Yes, my player's better than your player. Go. That's it. That's it, Terry. This is still simple. That's it. It is. It is, man. It is. And I firmly believe that. And if somebody else doesn't, cool. But that's where I am. That's where I am.
And look, last week we saw more of it.
And your uncle's right, man.
Yeah,
how many other things does your uncle say? Yeah, right. Tell him to write a book.
You go like this, boy, sometimes mine's just better than urine. You keep that in mind.
What do you think John Harbaugh says when his quarterback's doing stuff?
Yeah, I don't think they're worried about the matchup with Lamar on the edge rolling out.
I got Lamar. You don't.
Mine is better than urine. Yes.
How did Dan Reeves feel when he had John Elway? I got John Elway. You don't.
Right. All right.
All right, I'm sorry. I'm yelling. Now you got me all fired up, man.
Yeah, we'll get back. Start, bench, drop, Halloween version next on the postgame show. Post-game show. Terry Ford, Jay Phillips. Roll till 6. All right, so tonight we have Carolina Calls with Shane Beamer, Todd Ellis. After that, Thursday night football, Dolphins and Ravens. Tomorrow night, special starting time, 8 p.m. for our high school football scoreboard show with Elijah and Justin. That's because they're playing some games tonight, Jay, because tomorrow's Halloween. You following that?
I did know tomorrow was Halloween. I did not know that meant an alteration of the high school football schedule.
Yes. That's what I was told by Justin Hall and Elijah Campbell, who know a hell of a lot more than I do. So
I believe that.
No, absolutely. Hey, that is not an argument at all. So will not be a debate, but any way, shape, or form. So they told me because there are going to be some games played tonight, it'll be a lighter schedule tomorrow night. So we'll just go 8 to 11 tomorrow night with our high school football scoreboard show.
Okay. All right. I didn't know if that meant because maybe
they want to go
Elijah
trick-or-treating.
and Justin were going trick-or-treating.
Yeah, I mean, they're going together. I don't want to get into their costume. It's a little personal, but
okay. Yeah, that's fine.
But they're going as Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce. Just saying.
Solid. Well, Elijah has the Travis Kelce beard.
No, they're going to switch it, and Justin's going as Travis Kelce, and Elijah's going to go as a bearded Taylor Swift.
Sounds that's a new era for her. See what I did?
Next album.
Thank you. That's right. Yeah.
Anyway,
right.
sir. All right.
Yeah. No. Okay. That's good. That's good. And yeah, Lamar is back tonight, and I believe the Dolphins are heavy home underdogs to a now Lamar-led Baltimore Ravens tonight. So.
Yes, they are. Well,
they're both 2-6 though, so
I know.
I guess a win does something for somebody.
The Ravens 2-5. They had the bye.
Oh, I don't know. Maybe they are.
Yeah, they
both have 2 wins. Okay.
Yeah, between them they got 4 wins. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so
they're
they both
both
have 2
desperate.
wins.
They're both very desperate.
Okay.
I think Dolphin fans were bummed last week when Miami upset Atlanta in Atlanta because they were hoping McDaniel would get fired, the head coach.
Well, I don't. I say I can't. I could never be that fan.
I can't either. I could never do that.
Yeah, I pull for my team. I pull for my team. I know things can be bad, and I don't know.
I'll give you a quick example.
There's still players on a team that are trying to win a game.
I knew, there are times in your life, your favorite teams. The coach is either you're not going to win with this coach, or you're not going to win what you want with that coach, or this coach isn't very good, and you need another one, right? Or manager, whatever. Even though I knew that at times, I still could not root for my team to lose so the coach or manager could get fired. I just can't do it.
I can't. That's just not in me.
There's times I wish I could be that guy, but I can't be that guy, ever. Just can't.
Start pinch drop today. How you, again, if speaking of trick-or-treating, if maybe this is for that set of us that is maybe no longer directly interested in trick-or-treating. If you have little ones, then you still have an investment in that particular activity, which is great. I kind of miss those days. I'm not going to lie, man. Trick-or-treating with my girls was great fun. It really was. So I do miss that. But now, again, minus the trick-or-treating, which just stands alone as the activity for Halloween. Costume party, wherever you may have it, at your place, somebody else's place, bar, club, whatever. Costume party. Live haunted attraction, scary attraction. Again, we have a couple of them here in town. I know one of them, Free Plug, Deceased Farms. Again, if you go to the one up at Carowinds, they call it Scarowinds. They've got one. But those kind of things with people that jump out at you. Mm-hmm. Like Terry said, his daughter's doing one out in Boulder, and she got hit in the face, and apparently that's a badge of honor because somebody got so scared they hit him in the face.
So weird. Anyway, go ahead.
Or just, wherever you may hang out and watch, your favorite or non-favorite scary movie. Mm-hmm. So how do you like to celebrate Halloween? So that's your start, bench, drop. So which one don't you do? Maybe that's the drop today, but the one that's just the least fun for you on Halloween. Real quick, Terry, I want to away. We do so much about music and things like that away from sports here on this show. Many of you have probably known, of course, he passed away here recently, but Jim Irsay, a longtime owner of the Colts, took over the team from his father and actually made the Colts relevant again. And was just a good dude. Obviously had his issues and his demons, but overcame a lot of that and wanted to do a lot of things with the wealth that he had acquired through ownership of the Colts. and he had what is named officially the Jim Irsay collection, and it is museum worthy. His daughters, now he has 3 daughters, and they're running the Colts and they're running the family businesses, which is primarily the Colts, but they have a few other things they're interested in. But this collection has been, I mean, Terry, here's the thing. A lot of what he owned has been displayed in the Met in New York, the Metropolitan Museum, Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in Cleveland, the British Library, the American Writers Museum, the Indiana State Museum. There's a touring exhibition that he would have for free. I think he had some sponsors, but when it went out on tour, he didn't charge people to come in and see it. He just wanted it. He wanted people to be able to have access to some of these things. But it's now going up for auction. His daughters have decided they're going to, they're probably going to handpick a few of the great ones, that great pieces that are in this collection, and the rest of it's going to be auctioned off. But for instance, the very first thing he purchased of significant value was the original typescript scroll for Jack Kerouac's On the Road, which is one of the great American novels
phenomenal,
ever.
Man. That's great.
His first major musical purchase was Jerry Garcia's iconic guitar that Jerry nicknamed Tiger. It was customized for Jerry in the late 70s, and it was the guitar that he played in basically the second half of the run of the Dead, and Jerry was still playing it on his very last show when the Dead played at Soldier Field in July, about a month before Jerry died. And I wouldn't even know what that's worth, but, it's Jerry Garcia's guitar. He's got guitars. Check this out, man. He has more than 200 of them. They've been played and owned by Jimi Hendrix, Pete Townsend, Prince, Lou Reed, Eddie Van Halen, Johnny Cash, The Edge, Les Paul, Walter Becker, that's Steely Dan's guitar player, an amazing songwriter as well. Neil Schon from Journey. He has a couple of basses from John McVie of Fleetwood Mac. He has guitars that John Lennon played. He has guitars that George Harrison played. He has pianos that both Paul McCartney and John Lennon played and composed on. He has a saxophone from John Coltrane. He has trumpets from Miles Davis. He also has one of Elton John's most favorite Steinway touring pianos that Elton played for like a couple of decades. It was like Elton's, that was his baby. And it's in the Jim Irsay collection. He has the championship belt from Ali's Rumble in the Jungle. He has the first drum kit that Ringo played on the Ed Sullivan Show. I could go on and on, man. I mean, it's amazing. He has some Eric Clapton guitars. He has David Gilmour guitars, Pink Floyd. He has Kurt Cobain guitars. He has, he's got letters from Abraham Lincoln. He has one of the first copies, obviously not the original because that's something different, so it's not an original. He has one of the first handwritten copies of the Declaration of Independence. Sure. I mean, and it goes on, man. It's extraordinary, some of the things that he has. He has the saddle that Ron Turcotte, that was the jockey for Secretariat. He has the saddle that Ron rode for all 3 wins during the Triple Crown. Like, this is what this man's collection is. It's phenomenal. I was blown away. It's all going up for auction, and it's estimated that in its current value is already worth more than $1.1 billion. Lord knows what this is going to get when you chop it up, man. I can't wait to watch this. And if you want to get me a birthday present, I'll take any of those Eddie Van Halen, Prince, or if you want to buy me the Jerry Garcia one, man.
I was going to get you the Declaration of Independence, but okay.
I'll take that too. I love America. All right, we'll be back on the postgame show.
All right, let's jump in on the traffic. We've got accidents. Clemson Road near Summit Parkway, Decker Boulevard at Brookfield Road, Forum Drive near Fashion Drive, also Pine Ridge Drive near Congaree Drive, South Beltline Boulevard near Plowden Road, also Trotter Road at Pageant Road, Two Notch at Ross Road as well. We'll come back, talk some Gamecocks. How do you stop Ole Miss? Clayton White, the Gamecock defensive coordinator, will tell you his ideas. That's coming up next here on the Postgame Show. Plus, the latest on the weirdness at LSU and a story about UCLA. It's all coming up here on the Postgame Show. Jay Phillips, Terry Ford on the game. All right, so Clayton White, Ole Miss, defensive coordinator of South Carolina, talking to the media yesterday, gave his thoughts on how do you stop a very, very prolific Ole Miss offense.
It's definitely easy to say. You can definitely say it. But obviously, Coach Kiffin's been known for his high-powered offense over the years. So I think it's my fifth time, maybe fourth time going against him. So he's always had an opportunity. He always does a good job of putting points up and plays and making you cover the entire field. So this is a different offense than it was last week. So it's completely different coaching style and all that kind of stuff. But our guys understand the challenge that we have, understand the kind of offense that we're facing, and that offense's mindset and their mentality.
Terry, I look at it, and like we talked about last hour with Eli and opening up the four, the 1-2, it's almost a 1-2-3 punch. And they've got other weapons because they've got some guys they can throw to that really can get open and are good in space. But Trinidad Chambliss has become such a surprise weapon. And when combined with Lacey in the backfield, they can both run so well. Chambliss, like I say, I don't have it pulled up, but I think in only one start did he not throw for at least 250 yards, and in that one I think it was like 240 something. So these guys, there's so many weapons that you have to account for. The biggest thing I look for, and this is almost like a duh, is for Stewart and Thomas to be as effective as they have been at trying to get quarterbacks out of rhythm. I think for a large portion of last week, a very efficient Ty Simpson was, I don't know if struggling is the right word, but certainly he was off balance. I think Carolina, for large portions of the LSU game, had Nussmeier kind of off his game a little bit. You didn't get quite as much of it against Oklahoma, perhaps, as you wanted to. Although I think at times you did, but certainly last week. I mean, how many times did Bama go 3 and out, and how many times did Simpson just look frustrated? If you could have just done it one more time, right? But you didn't. So, what impact those guys? Because you must have those guys, have an impact. You must. That's maybe that's key number one in this game. To be honest with you, forget for a second about the Gamecock offense and what they're going to have to do. If you don't keep this Ole Miss offense off balance in some way, I think you can forget about it. And this could be a team that could score in the high 30s, maybe. Almost like that, So I think that's imperative that what Clayton and his coaches dial up and his kids go do may well set the tone for Carolina. Because if you're not affecting Trinidad Chambliss in some way throughout the night, I certainly don't think South Carolina has an offense that's going to be capable of matching them point for point.
Now, you can't have a track meet. Trinidad Chambliss is being pressured on 22.7% of his throws. That's it, Jay. That is it, compared to Lenoris at 46%.
Yeah, I was going to say it's about double, isn't it?
Yeah. It's crazy. Lenoris is going, can I have some of that? But anyway.
I know, right?
Here is Chambliss real quick. Yards throwing this year, 353, 307, 314, 253, 263, 315. The lowest he's thrown for this year was 253 when they sleptwalk against Washington State.
Okay, so I was wrong. I apologize. Then okay, I was thinking he had one where it wasn't 250. So 253 is the large. So it is more than 250 every time. My bad.
And you
my bad.
disrespected him. That's going to be on the.
I know, right? Yeah, I know. Yeah, I know, right?
Jay.
Right. I was thinking. I looked at one where he didn't, but might have been one of Simmons' games. I don't know. Anyway, yeah, this kid's been he's been dynamite. He's been and look at his rush numbers too.
Mm-hmm. He has been, and we say this about like a Taylor Green and Marcel Reed. We talk about Trinidad Chambliss. These are the way these guys affect the game is how Norris needs to affect the game. You've got to have guys at that quarter, and quarterbacks are running more today in college football than we've ever seen. If you look at the numbers, because they can affect, if they can run the football and throw it the way you now affect the football game, and the havoc you can place on a defense is unreal. But you've got to use them in that vein. And when you talk about Trinidad Chambliss running the football, obviously Kejuan Lacey's the leading rusher on this team. But if you take a second and you look at what Chambliss has done in the run game, with 82 rushes, Jay, 13 of them scrambles. He's averaging 5 yards a carry. He's averaging over 3 yards after contact. He's forced 13 missed tackles, and he's got 14 runs of plus 10 yards on 82 carries. That's affecting the game with your legs.
Absolutely. He's I'm telling you, special player to see what he's been doing so far. And when I say I'm looking forward to seeing him play, I love college football. I know who he's going up against this weekend, Terry. Mm-hmm. I've been watching him play already, but I want to see. And hey, if I'm Dylan Stewart and Brian Thomas, I'm going. All right, my turn. Let's see. And so you like these opportunities, right? Mm-hmm. And that's that. But I think that really affecting him in some way is job one in this entire ball game for South Carolina.
And here, two things real quick on Ole Miss's offense. One, when it comes to Chambliss, this is what you got to keep an eye on. Trinidad Chambliss has thrown 39 passes over 20 yards so far this year. He's completed 16 of them, Jay. 55% over 20 yards. He has 11 big-time throws and only one turnover play. So they're going to take shots on you deep, and he's been really good when you take those shots. So that's number one. And number two, think about this for a minute. We talk about Lane Kiffin and Charlie Weiss Jr. and what they do with that offense from a coordinator standpoint. That offensive staff found this dude at Ferris Bleepin State. Okay, Jay? Ferris State.
Okay.
I don't know how they found him. Maybe somebody's Aunt Edna's Uncle Woodrow told Aunt Mamie's sister, hey, watch this kid. Maybe some coach or scout said, hey, you guys need to look at the tape of Trinidad Chambliss. Whatever happened, they watched the tape of a guy from Ferris State and said, we got to bring him to the SEC, not to start, but to be the backup. But they saw enough in Trinidad Chambliss to actually give him a scholarship to be on this roster as a backup quarterback to start the year. Think about that for a minute.
By the way, Ferris State is not in Grand Rapids, Michigan, but in Big Rapids, Michigan. So I don't know the difference, the Big Rapids versus the Grand Rapids.
What's bigger? I mean, is Grand bigger than Big or Big bigger than Grand?
Well, I think Grand Rapids is at least a bigger city.
Yeah, it's a bigger city. But that doesn't mean the Rapids are bigger. You know what I'm saying?
No, it does not. And Big Rapids seems to be about an hour north of Grand Rapids and about 2.5 maybe hours northwest of Detroit. I mean, Ferris State is in almost middle of nowhere, Michigan. It's not on the UP. It's still on the LP, but it's way up there, man. So this is a diamond in the rough.
The more you dig into the story, the crazier it is. It just is.
Yeah, it is. Real quick, lawsuit has been filed out in L.A. That basically accuses UCLA of negotiating in bad faith to move its home games from the Rose Bowl to SoFi Stadium, even though they have a lease with the city of Pasadena that runs until 2044. Honestly, Terry, I thought UCLA had been playing in the Rose Bowl longer than this. They didn't move to the Rose Bowl until 1982.
Really?
If you had asked me, I would have said,
yeah.
It's this report from Matt Baker in The Athletic says that they've been playing their home games at the Rose Bowl since 1982. Did they have an on-campus place? And again, why didn't you build something on campus?
Yeah,
You're UCLA.
I know.
Pasadena said it has issued $150 million in bonds to fund stadium renovations that UCLA requested. The Rose Bowl operating company has planned $200 million in capital improvements to the Rose Bowl Stadium over the next 20 years. They were predicated on a stable, multi-decade tenancy by UCLA. And it says UCLA's lease can only be terminated in the event of a game-threatening default, a situation preventing a scheduled home game. Pasadena says no such condition has occurred, and it makes any move a breach of contract. This sounds like this is, I don't know. I mean, if I were them, I'd want to probably go play at SoFi as well. They need something to spark people's interest.
You gotta do something.
I'm not sure the Rose Bowl, the locals don't really care about going to the Rose Bowl. It's like, hey, this is fun.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Yeah. It's not the same.
It's almost like it's a tourist destination once a year. They want to go to SoFi.
Right. Well, here's the thing. They're about the same distance from the UCLA campus. I just looked it up. So it's not like you're getting a lot closer. But like you said, maybe playing in a new venue, maybe with some bells and whistles that SoFi is going to put in for UCLA. Maybe they'll do something, man. I don't know.
Yeah, I would think about it if I were UCLA, but not if you have to pay a whole bunch of money to get out of this. They're already $50 million in debt.
Exactly.
Yeah. All right, we'll come back with Jay or Nay, and Terry has a surprise for me that I don't know what it is, so I'm looking forward to it.
Getting a quick check on the traffic. We've got some accidents. Left lane is blocked, I-20 westbound before Monticello Road. That's exit 68. Also, more accidents. Clemson Road near Summit Parkway, Forum Drive near Fashion Drive, I-26 eastbound right before St. Andrews exit 106. North Lake Drive at East Main Street, Pine Ridge Drive at Congaree Drive, Trotter Road at Paget Road, Two Notch at Ross Road. Post-game show. Terry Ford, Jay Phillips. We're going to get the Jay or nay. You know this little ditty, right?
I do, yes.
Well, on this day in 1990, you might remember this. Axl Rose got into a fight with his neighbor and beat him on the head with a beer bottle.
I wouldn't know it on the date. I do recall that happened. That it was. I didn't know. I was like, did this album come out in 1990? I know she was like, this came out in 89, right? Or did this come out in 90?
Yeah,
I'm trying to remember.
89-ish, yeah.
89, I think. Yeah.
Our boy.
So I thought you were giving me an anniversary of Appetite for Destruction, which is. You know,
phenomenal
it's
album.
funny, man. Well, it's it's almost beyond phenomenal. I remember one time, Terry, because I told you, I think it was yesterday, I was telling you that I very recently got an original Boston album down at Soda City Market with and again, I got to get the guy's name, and I'm going to give him a shout out on air because he's great. But to me. And I'm older than Michael Haney, but to me, the greatest debut album of all time is Boston, followed by probably Appetite for Destruction. Now, that's me and my musical tastes. If you like somebody else's debut album out there, you know, a lot of people love, like, Off the Wall by Michael Jackson, which is also a phenomenal debut album.
Great album.
Whitney Houston's first album was nothing but top 10 hits. It depends on what you like. So I'm not here to say what is, okay, just for me. But I remember one time, and I love Michael Haney like a brother. And he was basically something to the effect of, Boston. That's like all bubblegum pop rock. And I was like, whoa.
Excuse me?
Because he was pumping up Appetite for Destruction. And again, Michael's about 10 years younger than me, so I get it.
Right.
I get it where he's coming from, right? But that might be like I don't want to say angriest or whatever, but that might be the one time in Michael and my now, and back then, I mean, and now it's a 20-some year friendship and partnership on air. But that might be the one time where I was like, dude, you need to walk that back. You need to really stop and think about what you're saying and what that Boston album meant to rock and roll at a time when disco was taking over, especially in this country, because that's American rock, not because English rock is its own great thing, and all the great bands are English, and we get that. The legendary ones, you know what I mean. I say all the great. Y'all know what I mean. Y'all know what I mean. I love my Van Halen and everybody else, but I'm just saying, like back then, like America didn't really have a big rock presence yet. That was the Stones and Floyd and the Beatles and Zeppelin and the Who. And I was just like, you need to walk that back, and you need to realize what Boston means. Right. So anyway, but Appetite for Destruction, Appetite for Destruction is phenomenal. Saw Guns N' Roses on tour not long after, and phenomenal. We saw them at Williams-Brice. It was a couple years later. Might have even been when the double album came out, but. No, man, that's but Axl, I can see him. I can see him breaking a beer bottle over somebody's head.
Ready? Axl was released on $10,000 bond. The incident happened after a complaint to the police about loud music coming from Axl Rose's house. So he went next door. Oh, you scream out my music! Bam! Knocked him with a Michelob. Popped him with a Lowenbrow or a Heineken or something. Right upside the head.
No, not good for him. I'm kidding, kids. Don't take out your grievances
with a bottle.
With a beer bottle. Yeah. Use a plastic bottle.
That's right.
Hurts less.
Be safe.
Hurts less. That's right. All right, let's do it.
Day. Coaching whispers in college football. The name Jeff Brom is popping up for possible openings at Florida or LSU or other places. Jay or nay, Jeff Brom leaving his alma mater?
Oh, I'm a J on Jeff Brom. On leaving his alma mater, maybe not. I do think Louisville football has limitations that others don't. And Andy Staples seems to believe that Jeff Brom is more on the Florida radar than some might believe. So I like Jeff Brom. He wins. He wins. He won at Purdue. He's doing good things at Louisville. He's a good football coach, man.
All right,
so I'm a J on him.
Jay or nay, the whispers of Clark Lee being on Penn State's radar?
I get it. Jay, if I'm Penn State, like I've said, Terry, I've talked to some people who know Clark, and they're not just saying he's a good football coach. This is a man who could run a big-time organization, and Penn State's a big-time organization, but, he could run your business for you. So I'm Jay on that. I hope he stays. I do, but I get it.
Ready, Jay or nay, any sane person taking the LSU job after what we've heard this week?
Any sane person?
Sane person.
Don't do it. Don't do it. Not right now, man. That's... As they say back in the day, that's a scene, man.
Yeah.
Not a good one.
Integrated Media, 5 o'clock news coming up.
AAA Heating and Air is ready to keep you and your family nice and comfortable, just like they've done for me. And we're back in the house recently here. Had a quick little issue that got fixed. My man Wade was here yesterday just making sure the furnace was good. It was working for a second. And the first few days we turned it on, and then it wasn't. Wade came in, fixed it. Guess what? Now the house is nice and warm again. So if you want to get your furnace inspected before it gets really cold all the time, which doesn't last long here, but when it does, you want to stay warm. 803-677-1500. Maybe it's time for a brand new system. Roy and Dana Finley can hook you up with a $1,500 system buyback rebate. There you go, right straight up. You're saving money right there. 15-year parts and labor guarantee, so you got peace of mind for a long time. Guaranteed financing and no payments or interest for a full year. So if those things interest you, then you need to call 803-677-1500. Do what I've done, many of your friends and neighbors. Stay nice and comfy inside with AAA Heating and Air.
All right, as soon as the traffic refreshes, which it decided to just crash on us, we had some accidents around the Midlands. We're going to try to get you caught up on as soon as, again, we get the traffic to come back up. Great how it did that. I'm working on it. Keep going, traffic bed. Don't stop. Please keep going. Here we go. Maybe we'll get it by the time we get to the legal ID. There we go. Accidents reported Bay Road at Free Woods Road, Clemson Road near Summit Parkway, Forum Drive at Fashion Drive, Hard Scrabble at Elders Pond, I-20 right before the Monticello Road exit, I-26 eastbound to St. Andrews Road, exit 106, North Lake Drive at East Main Street, Pine Ridge Drive at Congaree Drive. There you go. All right, time to get the 5 o'clock news, sponsored by our good buds from Integrated Media. Let's go to the 107.5 The Game Network sports desk to our correspondent, Jay Phillips.
We should get one of those every time I do this. Let's do that out in the video room here soon. That could be kind of fun, actually.
Wouldn't that be cool, like the set of Saturday Night Live when they do the news?
Yeah, I'd love that. I'm actually now not even kidding.
I'm not either. We got to roll a fake desk in, bud.
I am certainly here for it. It's more of an incentive to get my rear end back to the office.
There you go.
Anyway, the Gamecocks will be at Mississippi Saturday night. 7 o'clock is the kickoff at Vaught-Hemingway Stadium. Really, the line hadn't changed all week. South Carolina is a 12.5-point underdog. The over-under 55.5, and the computer still gives Carolina a 19% chance to win this ball game. Clayton White and Mike Shula speaking yesterday. We heard from Coach Shula a little bit earlier about some of the things with Lenoris. Let's hear from Clayton White here. Again, his defense played very, very well against Alabama. Obviously, you want one drive back, and that was the crucial one. We all get that. But Clayton was asked what type of confidence and level of confidence his side of the ball carries into Oxford.
Meaning just overall, we definitely, we sit in here on Sundays and guys are hurt, so it's the confidence should build up as we go out throughout the week as we get a good feel for Ole Miss. But they have a lot to keep. They have a lot to be proud of. A lot of teams probably haven't done that to Bama, but they definitely have a little bit of confidence coming out of it. But for the most part, you kind of have to erase it and move on. And you can't celebrate long, you can't dwell long in this league, and then pretty much any league, but definitely not this one. You don't have time to. You have to see the schedule, and you're like, oh, okay, got to move on. So you better get going.
Terry, I don't think we have seen this Gamecock football team have too many letdowns. Humans can let down from time to time, so. Doesn't matter what you do for a living or what you're doing in your collegiate extracurricular activities or anything like that. But by and large, it feels like we haven't seen this ball club get down on itself after difficult moments. But I do think that mindset is again really part of the real crucial mix this weekend. You gotta let go, and have they? I mean, they can say they have. And if you have, great. But I think you just got to. It's very easy to say forget it and move on, right? Especially when it's as painful as it was on Saturday. So, confidence is one thing. Mindset is part of that, I know. But there can be a blending of emotion there. Like, man, we played really, really well, and man, we had one more drive to stop, and we didn't.
Yeah.
Where that comes together. Will be telling on Saturday night.
I mean, it's interesting, Jay, because look, first of all, this defense isn't the wrecking machine that last year's was, but it's a pretty good defense. I mean, they lead the SEC, I believe, in pass defense when it comes to yards per game. I think they're in the top 5 in opposing quarterback rating. It's a good defense. It's not last year's defense, but it is a good defense. And think about this for a minute. And look, football obviously is the ultimate team game. And you're up 22-15. Now, think about this. Alabama's offense has only scored 15 points against you by the early fourth quarter mark of the game. Run that in your head. Only 15 points have you given up to Alabama. And in stretches of the first and second half, you were dominant against the Alabama offense. But, again, you give up the big drive at the end. And then, obviously, you can't get the third down stop on the final drive after the fumble. So it's a mixed bag. But at the end of the day, your defense, and remember, let me rephrase that. You gave up one touchdown, Jay, because the other touchdown was a pick six. So that's how good your defense did play. And your defense played well enough to win, but 2 big drives in the fourth quarter, you couldn't get stops when you needed. So is that fair? I mean, it's what happened, but your defense did play well enough to get that W. But at the end of the day, you had to ask your defense to make a couple of big stops, and they couldn't do it.
Yeah, I mean when it counted most, and that's why you hurt for him. And again, if your offense could do a little bit more and take some of that pressure away, because the defense was phenomenal. I thought the defense was brilliant. I really do. Again, until I hate to say it this way, until it wasn't. And I know what happened. We all saw it. But I thought they played a tremendous game. And then, Bama shifted things up just enough there on that final drive, which was a really impressive drive, considering they hadn't had one all day. That was an impressive drive, and they did enough. You mentioned opposing quarterback rating and where Carolina is. Here's Clayton White on what he sees in, again, maybe the breakout player in all of college football, Trinidad Chambliss.
I would say it's definitely the offense hasn't changed a little bit. Obviously, he's now the starter. He's a productive quarterback. There are some similarities of what I see every day. Not as big, but definitely the same type player. Can tuck it, can run it, hard to sack, and can throw it, all that good old stuff, really good on the move. Does a good job of managing the offense and being smart with the football and don't take a lot of sacks, get out of sacks. But definitely a challenge for sure.
So a lot of similarities to what they see. Obviously, he's gets to go up against Lenoris in practice a lot, and that is good for this Gamecock defense, Terry, to have that kind of opportunity all week long so that they're prepared for what they see on Saturdays. And as you and I talked about, I think this is, we can't say it's the most complete offense that Carolina's seen, because I do think Vanderbilt has, in my opinion, a complete offense. It's a different offense. And I think with what you mentioned earlier, what Lane and Charlie Weiss Jr. are doing with this ball club is tremendous. But I have to believe, Terry, that even those two brilliant offensive minds had no idea what they had in Trinidad Chambliss.
Oh, if they did, he would have been the starter from the get-go, right?
Right.
I mean, if you knew.
Well, yeah, it does make you wonder, right? Like, what was he doing in August? Like, and I don't ask that in like y'all really thought Simmons was better? Like, I mean, and is he? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, because my goodness, this kid has been just fantastic.
Well, a couple people I've heard from Ole Miss said they just loved Austin Simmons so much that he was pretty much the starter. There wasn't even really a competition in summer camp because it was Austin Simmons. Remember, he played a little bit in that Georgia game last year, and it was a big drive when Carson Beck went out, and Simmons was really good. They loved his physical abilities and his talents and all that. So really, Trinidad Chambliss didn't have a chance to win the gig. And then Simmons gets hurt, and Simmons did struggle early in the year, but Simmons gets hurt, and Chambliss comes in and just goes crazy.
Yeah, it's been a fun story to watch. We'll have more from both Coach Shula and Coach White coming up in just a few minutes in our Gamecock Notebook. Meantime, a story that a lot of us, I'm raising my hand, have been hoping for. This came down about an hour ago, Terry. Former Central Michigan coach Jim McElwain, 3 of his former staff members at Central Michigan, and 3 will face penalties for their roles in allowing Connor Stallions, then of Michigan, to be on the CMU sideline during a game against Michigan State in 2023. This is from the Associated Press. McElwain, the 3 staff members, and the university agreed to take the deal first offered by the NCAA enforcement staff, later approved by the governing body's Committee on Infraction. So let's see here. I'm trying to find the penalties. This just came down. Don't know what it's going to get. McElwain, okay, 19-page letter found that former quarterbacks coach Jack Costner bypassed the program's normal procedures by requesting extra coaching gear from Nate Mason, the former coordinator of athletic equipment. Costner then asked Mike McGee, the former director of recruiting, to give the clothing and a sideline pass to his friend Stallions, though Costner had used an alias to avoid detection before kickoff. Costner received a 4-year show cause. He's also banned from all athletic-related activities for the first year and 50% of the second year if he is hired somewhere else. McElwain received a 2-year show cause and would be restricted from all football coaching duties during the first year if he were hired at another school. He would be suspended from 30% of football games during the first year and 20% of the games in the second year. So, doubt you'll see him again anyway. And Central Michigan gets 2 years probation, a $30,000 fine, plus 1% of their football budget. So, how much, of a penalty that really is in the grand scheme, don't know. But we said for years, like, who let him down there? And then remember when McElwain, the sign stealer guy. It's like, bro, don't. Why are you talking? Stop talking.
Here's my thing, too, about this. It's one thing to get a penalty and to get fined and get caught and have all this happen when you're doing something to benefit your team.
Right.
Right? But you were letting Connor Stallions on the sidelines to do your buddy a solid or to pay off an old debt or whatever, and you got yourself and your school in trouble and didn't benefit you, Jay.
No, I again.
Come on, man.
It's
I'm from Baltimore. I'm all about cheating and weaseling people, but you got to get something out of it for yourself. Good God.
It is surreal. It is. So there you go. So Central Michigan pays some kind of price. Speaking of football in Michigan, but continuing our integrated media headlines of the day, Aiden Hutchinson has now signed the biggest contract, basically the biggest contract ever for an NFL player that doesn't play quarterback. His $45 million salary this year is only behind Micah Parsons, again, with non-quarterbacks, and his guaranteed $141 million in his new deal is the highest ever among non-quarterbacks. He signed a 4-year extension worth $180 million. Again, $141 million is guaranteed. Remember, he missed most of last season with a terrible leg injury with a couple of broken bones. But this year, he is back to his old self with 6 sacks, 29 pressures, and is second in the league behind only Micah Parsons of the Dallas Cowboys.
Oops.
Oh, wait.
Oops.
The Green Bay Packers.
Yeah, but let's face it, man. Those Cowboys can stop the run now. Woo!
They can, because Denver only averaged 6.5 yards a carry. Let me rephrase that, Terry. Denver only averaged 6.5 yards a carry against them. They can stop the run.
Well, Reddy, if Micah was there, it would have been 8 yards.
And you know what? They didn't have any sacks against Bo Nix. They had no sacks.
Well,
so they can stop the run, and they can pressure the – oh, wait. They can't stop the run.
No.
And they don't pressure the quarterback. My bad. I got the stats wrong.
Oh, and by the way, Micah Parsons is really struggling in Green Bay. Oh, no, he's not.
Still, oh, wait. He's the best in the league, just like he was in Dallas. But now Aiden Hutchinson is getting paid like he should too. But I'm glad. I really am, because when a big dude who's fast and quick, and there's two. I mean those things in two different ways. A big dude like Aiden breaks 2 bones in his leg. You do have to worry. Are you ever going to be the same? Well, yes, he's good. He's the same.
Yeah, he's relentless, man.
Oh, dude, I love that guy. I love listening to his interviews. I'm a huge Aiden Hutchinson fan.
Love his State Farm commercials. I mean, Aiden Hutchinson.
He's tremendous.
Dude,
he's great for football. And that him and Parsons are in that same division.
Hey, let me say this really quick, because I know we got to go in a minute. The Lions, they're paying their people. I mean, you look at everything they've done since they've gotten good. They're paying the core guys. Now, again, at some point the salary cap Grim Reaper gets you. But right now, they're shelling out dough to the players they look at as the big part of winning. To their credit, they're trying to make this thing work so they can keep the window open.
Yeah, good for them. Good for them. But this kid deserves it. And obviously, he's a state hero, having played for UM as well. So there you go. But Aiden Hutchinson getting paid again. The guarantee, the largest ever for a non-quarterback in the history of the league. That's our integrated media headlines of the day. We'll come back with more on Carolina Ole Miss. The Gamecock Notebook coming your way.
Men's Clinic of South Carolina, Dr. Dan and the staff. Again, they urge you if you're a guy and you're getting older and you just don't feel right anymore. You don't have any drive, whether it's professional, personal, sexual, recreational, just you don't have any drive anymore. You don't sleep like you used to. You can't remember stuff. You're not as strong at the gym. You don't recover as well. You're just off, man. Life is not what it used to be for you personally. Don't be scared about talking about it. Don't be nervous. Don't hide. Don't keep it to yourself. Just call 803-875-MENS. Go in, have a free confidential consultation with the crew. It could just be low testosterone. And if the staff thinks it is low T, they'll do some lab work. If it comes back low testosterone, they will put you on a program specifically designed for you to get you back to being you again. 803-875-MENS, Men's Clinic of South Carolina. All right, post-game show, time for our Gamecock Notebook. And we go to our Gamecock correspondent right outside the Spurrier Center, holding a Gamecock Notebook. Beautiful leather. Where'd you get it at, you said?
No, again, I bought it at the old Russell House bookstore when I was in school way back in the day. If you know, you know.
All right, so
I remember going to that place for the first time. I was like, all right, college bookstore. I don't think when I toured Carolina, I mean, look, here's the thing about me. and maybe I should have done it differently, Terry. This is not a lamentation per se, but I grew up in Columbia, and so I kind of took Carolina for granted, and I probably shouldn't have, but like I knew where things were on campus. And I remember, kind of taking the tour at one point. It's a generic thing, and they took us to the Russell House and stuff. But I don't think I went in the bookstore the first time, because I was like, they were like, hey, you can go to the bookstore if you want some gear. And I was like, bro, I got gear out the wazoo. Like I don't need any Gamecock stuff. But I remember the first time going in there, I was like, all right, this place is pretty cool. And then you like the little section of stuff they had, and I was like, all right, but yeah. So anyway, I still, somewhere not too long ago, I saw a box of notebooks that I got at the Russell House. In all seriousness, it had like the Block C logo on the front of the covers. So they do make those things. I guess they still do. I gonna be honest with you, Tara. Hadn't been in a college bookstore for my own needs and benefit in quite some time.
Now I've only gone in the bookstore to buy sweatshirts for whatever college visit we were doing.
Yeah. I've been. I like the one at UMD is very cool in stamp, and the one at UGA across from the stadium, dude. The one at UGA. Oh my God.
Really?
It's like Target.
I bought some tires. I got a sweatshirt.
It's huge. I mean, it's
crazy.
a two-story. It's 2 stories. I was like, my Lord.
Now I will say,
it's mostly for stuff.
I stole me a nice Vermont sweatshirt when my son did the visit to Vermont. I mean, I bought a nice Vermont sweatshirt. That's what I meant to say.
But anyway, all right, let's get into it here. Mike Shula, we just mentioned a second ago in hearing from Clayton White in the news portion of the afternoon about trying to keep that confidence rolling after you had a better game against Alabama. Same thing here for Mike Shula. Can you find a way to carry your success into the Mississippi game?
All these are really good questions. I mean, yes, you have to look at I think the best way to answer that is you kind of have to circle back as you evaluate the game on how teams are seeing you, and if you can continue with whatever it is, the success that you have. Number one, if you can, obviously any coordinator would want to, but if not, have certain plays that are off that, that come off plays that have been successful, and there's a fine line in continuing to run the plays that you've run that have had success, and then all of a sudden you run it one more time and that's one too many times, and you're like, you need to have something off it. So yeah, and then that's what's exciting about being a coach and game planning and preparing is the mental part of it of giving your players the things that they do well, and also doing it in a way where maybe you're not as predictable, even though you want to continue that. Maybe make it look like something else and still run the same plays, and hopefully we can build on the success that we've had as far as moving the football. And now we got to get better and getting points on the board, finishing drives, and staying out of the negative.
Less predictable, make it look like something else. I think that'd be music to Carolina fans' ears, Terry, because again, whether it's fair or not, there is a genuine belief that what Carolina primarily does is run the ball between the tackles. They don't, but they do it a lot. And I am as guilty of that as anybody, I'll freely admit. But finding ways to keep we've been saying this all season, right? And it just looks like if they want to do it, they can't, or they want to do it and they don't do it enough when they get it right. And again, line play has been a huge part of this, but I love the concept, right? I love the concept, but you got to put it into practice.
Yeah, look, I love the idea of, again, you run plays until people stop you, and yeah, you can window dress it. I remember, when Greg Roman was in Baltimore with the Ravens early in Lamar Jackson's career, they were running they had maybe 7 run plays, right? Maybe less. But they had all this different eye candy and window dressing for it. They'd run it out of a certain formation, then run out of a different formation, run it with motion, run it without motion. Run the play with 3 wides, then run it with 3 tight ends. It was really the same plays, Jay. They just gave you different formations and different motions and all this other stuff. but you're running the same stuff.
Yeah, and look, in the grand scheme, we joke a lot about the things I say about old Nebraska football. But in the grand scheme, you don't have to be that much different. But you've got to. It's more about, I think, the off balance part. And right now it just feels like Carolina's offense has been too predictable. And again, is that actually it, or again, Terry, is the line's play so poor that regardless of what you've tried to do, regardless of how you've tried to disguise it, change it, alter it, whatever, tweak it, it doesn't matter. And I maybe the more we look at it, the more we have to lean towards the latter there. That, man, look, the plays just can't ever develop. Maybe it is that simple, but you gotta, and if you know that, you got to find ways to do it. One more here from Coach Shula. This is an attempt. Again, we saw it last week. Elijah had a great question about it the other day, too. Spreading the ball around on offense. What's that look like again this week?
Yeah, I mean, that's a good question. I think that you have to be careful. I think you do a lot of that during the course of early in the week, as far as trying to get players in position that you think they're going to be kind of the guy that's going to make the play. But you can't have your quarterback just like, hey, throw it to this guy, throw it to that guy, throw it to that, because we want to spread it on the, or, hey, we're going to try to get the ball here. But because otherwise he kind of gets locked in on just that player as far as throwing the football. And meanwhile, you're forcing the ball and somebody else is open. So your quarterback's got to be very, flexible, and obviously make good decisions that whoever's in that area, that even though we thought all week it was going to be this guy, all of a sudden it could have been that guy. So he's got to be, take what he's learned in the practice field and move on. But it does help when, yes, if someone's looking at us and all of a sudden, like, there's a hit chart and they're saying, oh, they're only throwing the ball to this guy. We need to have variety.
Just like to see more variety head Nick Harbor's way, too. Again, only one catch last week.
Yeah.
Big catch, big play, but I'd like to see more of that. But they did, 8 different guys caught passes last week? That's good. That's good,
but, there's two sides to the whole thing, right? Good news is if you're dropping back and you're going through progressions and guys are open, you're just spreading the ball around, because as the natural flow of the offense goes, different guys are open at different times and they're all eating. That's good. But also, it would be nice if you could get more targets to, like, a Nick Harbor, for an example. Try to get him more touches. Or remember when Jacobs was hot early in the year, and now he's disappeared. Why? I don't know. Love to know the answer. I think it's a mixed bag, Jay. Yeah, you like a multitude of guys getting involved, because then you become more dangerous, because a variety of dudes can beat you. But if you've got some guys who can do some things for you on a special level, you also have to understand they need to touch the ball. So I think it's kind of a mixed bag here. And you're right. Yeah. It's great to have 8 different guys touch the rock, but also be good to try to utilize the guy, number 8, the big dude with the freakish physical skills. It'd be nice to also see if you get him some more touches in some space or where he's dangerous.
Well, I think you told us yesterday, right? You had a stat that maybe the top guys are targeted less on average than 4 times a game?
Yeah, Nick
season?
Harbor has led the way with, I think, 31 targets all year. So.
Wow. Yeah.
Just saying.
Yeah. All right, that's our Gamecock Notebook here on a Thursday afternoon. We'll come back with the latest on what's going on around LSU. And a funny, on that note, one of the participants on Start Bench Drop had something funny to say about that. And maybe some good news in Austin. We'll get you the drive around the SEC next.
All right, quick check on the traffic. We have accidents. We do. Hardscrabble Road at Elders Pond Road, I-26 eastbound before St. Andrews Road, exit 106. I-26 westbound at I-77, that's exit 116. North Lake Drive at East Main Street, also an accident. An accident has been cleared I-20 westbound before Monticello Road, that's exit 68. Jump back in here with a drive around the SEC on the postgame show. Oh, drive around the SEC. We will go to the offices of the Southeastern Conference, to our special correspondent there, Jay Phillips, to tell us what's going on in the SEC.
Well, it all revolves around what's going on right now in Baton Rouge, I think. And I want to say something. And look, this morning I heard on Dan Patrick, and they were kidding around, but they were like, what's happening in Baton Rouge is so SEC. And I wanted to go like, whoa, stop. No, it's not. It's not so SEC. No one else does this. I've never heard of this in my entire life. Y'all, I've been covering the Southeastern Conference since I was in college. I was in college when South Carolina joined the SEC. I had my own TV show on the student TV station for a year. I've been doing this for a living in some form or fashion since 1996, really end of 95, but into 96 full time. Never in my life, never in my career, Terry Ford, have I heard, and never even before from LSU to this degree, have I heard what we've heard this week from a governor of a state about how to run a college football program. Mm-hmm. Before I read a quote from the governor, because I don't have the audio of this one, because it's a tweet. It's a new tweet based on what he said yesterday. And just to reiterate real quick, if y'all didn't hear, yesterday, as part of a larger press conference, it's not like Governor Jeff Landry called a press conference solely to devote time to LSU football. It was about other things going on, and like a lot of states, with the federal shutdown, states are trying to figure out ways with state money to make sure that those who need real assistance with food and medicine and things like that are going to get it if the feds are shutting it down. And so I think a lot of what he was talking about was that. But then he got asked, because it's LSU football, he got asked about it. And he was like, I can promise you Scott Woodward, that's the AD, is not going to pick the next head coach.
Tell you what I can do. I can play you that cut before we get to the other cut. So here's
all right, play that one. Yeah, okay. Let's do that.
The first question is absolutely correct. We are not going down a failed path. And I wanted to tell you something. This is a pattern. The guy that's here now that wrote that contract cost Texas A&M $70-something million. Right now, we got a $53 million liability. We are not doing that again. And you know what? I believe that we're going to find a great coach.
Basically, he's saying Scott Woodward, the AD, is not going to pick the next head coach because of he hired Jimbo at A&M, he hired Brian Kelly at LSU, and to be fair, yes, he did hire Jimbo to begin with and gave him a contract, but it was Russ Bjork, who is now at Ohio State. He's the one that gave him the extension. That was crazy.
He got the fully guaranteed extension done for Jimbo after they had a good year, and Scott and Woodward had already made his way back to LSU. Governor Landry also has said in so many words that he can't believe that the taxpayers of Louisiana are on the hook for the $53 million buyout. And I will say this much, at least, Terry. I understand that a lot of LSU fans have rallied around the university and have blasted the governor, even though they may love him and voted for him. He's wrong about that. The state of Louisiana's taxpayers are not on the hook for that. LSU, like most giant athletic departments, is self-sustaining, and they are on the hook for that. And they're not going to have any kind of bailout from the state to pay that buyout, whatever it might look like.
Can I throw you one more thing about this governor? And again, I don't care what side of the aisle he's on. I don't care. This is not about any of that. This guy also got up and blatantly lied and said that Scott Woodward, Jimbo Fisher, and Brian Kelly all have the same agent. Blatantly said it like it was the gospel truth, and it was a blatant lie. And come on, man, that kind of stuff. Look, dude, if don't get up and say what some drunk whispered to you at some party. If you're going to get up and say that, you better go get your facts straight first, because people believe you because you're the governor. Right?
Yeah. It is. It's incredibly irresponsible.
This guy.
And to further the note of irresponsibility, Terry has a cut now from a Baton Rouge TV station, WBRZ, and this is a reporter talking. I just want to set it up with this. I don't want to tell you what it says until you listen to it. This is a reporter asking the chairman of the board. They call theirs the board of supervisors, not the board of trustees. But this is asking the chairman of the LSU board about what the governor said.
Governor Landry announcing today in a press conference that the board of supervisors will be heading that up. Do you have any response, any comment at this time?
No, I didn't know that.
Do you have any idea what the next steps might look like?
Next steps are we're going to go hire the best coach for Louisiana State University. I promise you. Go Tigers.
There you go.
Okay. The chairman of the board, when asked about what the governor has said on the board's job. No, I didn't know that. I'm not blaming the chairman of the board.
No.
I'm not blaming the chairman. So it's a mess, y'all. And look, someone's going to take this job, and like a lot of messes in life, it'll get cleaned up. I don't know if you're sweeping stuff under the rug like the old days, Terry, or if they've got like a cool robo-vac to just get it all sucked up and thrown into the trash. I have no idea what clean looks like in Louisiana terms. But this is a mess. And, again, it's a politician playing politics in a state where politics reigns supreme, perhaps like no other state in our country. And as someone who has studied history and knows about the antics of a guy like Huey Long back in the day, we saw what happened with Eddie DeBartolo and I think it was Governor, I'm trying to remember the guy's name now. Governor Edwards, Edwin Edwards of Louisiana, to what this guy's doing now. But it's college football, Governor. You need to just say, you know what? The only things you need to say, go Tigers. That's it. You just, I'm worried about people being hungry. I'm worried about the port of New Orleans. I'm worried about whatever. Go Tigers. That's about it. But this has been crazy. Anyway, but the chairman of the board. No, I didn't know that.
Didn't know. No clue.
Didn't know that.
Didn't know anything about it.
And again, not blaming the chairman on that one. But we'll see. But I look, if I'm Lane Kiffin and they come after me,
I'm not touching that gig, dude. No, thank you.
And by the way, Coach O is lobbying for it, Terry. I'm serious. Have you seen this?
Oh, yes, I have.
He's lobbying for it.
I have. Mm-hmm. Our boy.
I mean,
our boy running around with no shirt on.
Look, he can do some recruiting.
He sure can.
And, maybe he's their best option, and I say that in some jest.
I would say,
but
have you been drinking today?
But I mean, I don't know, man. I don't know. Right now, I wouldn't touch it. And the governor, again, I've seen fans. Again, I've gone down. I've looked at Matt Moscona's. That's about as far as I want to go. But our good friend Matt Moscona, ESPN Radio Baton Rouge, known Matt now for 15 years. So I went to his Twitter feed. I just wanted to see when he was tweeting about this what his audience was saying, and by and large, honest to goodness, diehard fans are all like, "Why is the governor doing this? He's messing it up for all of us.
Yeah.
That's the basic theme from fans, at least on that in that particular forum. So I can't use that as the sole gospel truth of how all LSU folk feel, but Matt's got a huge following, and you know, I feel like that's probably still going to be the majority feeling of, hey, Governor, we voted for you, but shut up.
Right. Zip your face. And because right now, if you're a high-level coach that's name has popped up for gigs and you're watching this bleep show, I mean, do you want any part of that? And you're right, Jay. Someone's going to take this job. I mean, it could end up being John Summerall at Tulane because all the big heavy hitters don't want any part of this because the goofy governor is running around like Alexander Haig in the 80s.
I'm in charge of the White House. No, you're not actually.
I've taken over. Yeah, exactly.
You're not in charge, sir. That's not how this works.
And I'm just like...
I'll never forget that.
Remember that? Remember that?
I do.
It was so funny.
I am in charge here. No. There's a vice president, and he's in charge.
It's like
that's how this. We got a constitution, man.
My man was ready to rumble, wasn't he? Old Alex Haig, man. He was ready to go. But anyway, this is not helping to get a high level coach with a resume. Nobody wants to deal with this nonsense at all. So it might be John Summerall at Tulane before it's all said and done.
Well, somebody's going to get paid a lot of money, and that's why somebody's going to take it. And I don't blame them. It's still the LSU football job, and it still is arguably, certainly of the open job. Look, I think LSU, if you wanted me to give you the top 3 jobs in the country, like in terms of what you can do every year, in order, Terry, Ohio State, Georgia, LSU.
Oh, LSU's right up there, man. Yeah.
I believe better than Texas. I genuinely believe, because you got no competition. You got no competition in state, you know? So that's the way I feel about that. That's our drive around the SEC. By the way, I said real quick, Arch Manning did practice today, still doubtful for Saturday against Vanderbilt. He's in concussion protocol, but he did practice. So there's a little bit of spark, perhaps, for Arch in Austin. That's the drive around the SEC. We'll be back.
right, before we get to Jay versus the internet, let's jump in here and get caught up on our start bench drop. We got there, man.
Yeah, start bench drop today was how you celebrate on Halloween if you're not into trick-or-treating, meaning you're probably a little bit older these days. Not that you're old, just older. Because trick-or-treating is the best way to celebrate on Halloween night. Costume party, wherever it might be. Again, your house, somebody else's house. Maybe you crash a costume party because it's costume party. You got a mask on. Nobody knows who you are.
Yep.
Bar, club. So costume party. Live haunted attraction could be one of them. Again, where people jump out and scare you if you like that kind of thing. Or just being somewhere watching your favorite or somebody else's favorite scary movies. I've thought about this one. I'm gonna start the costume party, I suppose, just because it's a party.
Oh yeah.
I'll bench scary movies. I'm not really into somebody jumping out with a chainsaw, even if I know there's no chain on the saw. You know what I'm saying? Oh, and my dog. Hey, hush.
Your pooch
Yeah,
agrees.
my dog's been in here with me for 3 hours, and she finally wakes up. Stop. She's disagreeing with me.
Oh man.
But anyway, yeah, I'll bench I'll drop rather the haunted attraction. I'm not really into that kind of thing.
This is so boring.
Is that wrong?
This is so boring because I'm with you on all three. I'm going to start the party because again, it's a party, man. It's a party. Nothing wrong with the party ever. And then I'm going to bench the scary movie because I'm not into those as much as I used to be. I got gored out when I was young, so I saw a ton of scary movies. And I'm going to drop the haunted house. I've gone to haunted houses when I was younger, and it didn't really scare me, and I just wasn't. It wasn't my vibe. So I'm with you.
Yeah, I know people that love them. I know people that love them. Steven Hiddison said he was going to drop the LSU coaching search. That was too scary.
Very nice.
Too scary.
Very nice.
All right, what do we got here? Let's. How did I do yesterday? I don't even know. I didn't look at the score. So
yeah, my computer just died because I forgot to plug it in, so I can't tell you right now. But I can give you today's, and we'll get caught up tomorrow.
Okay.
All right, today's Jay versus the internet. Ravens and Dolphins in Miami. We'll start with this. Baltimore 7.5-point favorites in Miami.
Yeah, that hook is worrying me, man. I mean, Lamar's still going to be, even for Lamar, a little rusty. Miami's. They look. I mean, I can't tell which Falcons team showed up. Baltimore wins, but I'll giving the home team 7.5 is nice. I think there. So Baltimore to win, but give me Miami to cover the 7.5.
All right, so they will cover, but the Ravens will win.
Give me Ravens by 4.
Okay, I can see that. I can see that.
I think Ravens win. I think Lamar is itching to do some big things, but maybe not quite that much. And again, as you know, the Raven defense hasn't been a typical Raven defense.
No, it has not. It's struggled this year badly. All right, next, the money line. You're going to love this.
Uh-oh.
The money line is Baltimore minus 448 or Miami plus 345. Basically, betting $100. Basically, you got to bet $100 to win $345 on the Dolphins. And the Ravens are minus 448 on the money line. Which way are you going?
Well, I'm not dropping minus 440.
No.
I'm not doing that. So, I mean, if I'm going to bet the money line, I'm betting my 100 to win whatever the Dolphins win.
Absolutely,
So,
I would take Miami on the money line. Over under 51.5. Where are you going?
Ooh, wow. Over. I think this is going to be something like, what'd I say, by 4? So I could see a 38-34 kind of game here.
Absolutely.
I think there's going to be points.
I'm with you 100%.
I think there's going to be points.
Neither one of these defenses have been worth a darn all year, so I see a ton of points tonight. Absolutely. All right, so you're going to take Miami in the 7.5, but you think Baltimore will win. You're going over the 51.5, and on the money line, you would take Miami plus the 345.
Yeah, because again, a minus 440 money line.
That's ridiculous. It's insane.
I'm not doing that.
No.
And again, I think Miami's going to, No, not doing that. Not doing that.
All right, a little J or nay for you. Mike McDaniel survived the year as a head coach of the Dolphins. I'll give you my terror, Nay. I think he does survive till the end, but he gets fired at the end of the year.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think he survives the year. Now, does that, is that a survival into the following season? I don't know.
Nah, I think
Again,
this is it.
Dolphin fans got to hope, like Jet fans, that does the owner survive the season?
Well, you hope not. You hope not.
Yeah, but
unfortunately, you're stuck with Stephen Ross.
All right, yeah. Thanks to Eli. Good stuff today. Langston will be with us tomorrow, and hopefully, again, knocking on wood, back in the studio. But good stuff today. Thanks, Terry.
See you, bud. Thank you, Val.
Way too often, guys just don't go to the doctor when they're feeling off, when something's not right. They think they can tough it out. Or, hey, my dad never went to the doctor. My granddad never went to the doctor. I don't want to go to the doctor. I don't want to talk about that kind of stuff. Don't be that guy. Don't be that guy. Get to feeling better when you see Dr. Dan Balknight and his team at the men's clinic, whether it's the weight room, the game room, the bedroom, the boardroom. Things aren't where they used to be for you. And you're like, what's up with this? Well, it's because you're getting older. It happens. It's quite natural, actually. But when you go see the men's clinic, you get experts in healthcare for men that are dedicated to making you feel like yourself again. They can talk with you, learn about you, get some lab work done, and prescribe a treatment plan that is just right for you. No magic pills, no one-size-fits-all. Do it for yourself. Do it for your family. 803-875-MENS. Call Dr. Dan Balknight and his team at the men's clinic.